This is happiness, to be everything at once. Be unblinded, be unlearned, be unbridled and unburned.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Mood Prep. My name is Dave Nixon, and I'm going to talk a little bit about maturity today, and a post by Yung Pueblo. I have no idea if I'm saying that correctly, and I will do the research to find out if I am. Either way, he goes on to say, real maturity is noticing your own inner turbulence and pausing before you project how you feel onto what is happening around you. Now, I really love this for a number of reasons, but real maturity, I mean, that's one example of real maturity. I've given many other examples of maturity on the podcast before, and part of it is seeking to understand the other person before just letting your emotions run you. That's a big part of maturity, of what's going on for them in order for them to lash out rather than just lashing out in return, right? Which is very similar to this, but there's two things here, right? Three things. I'm going to say three things here that are really important to indicate about what he is saying, what they are saying. I actually don't know if they're a male or a female, but what they're saying around male. Thank you, David. Good research, David, on Instagram. So either way, what they're saying in relation to the message. So real maturity. I think I still need a holiday. I didn't have a holiday. It's been hectic here. It's been hectic. Even Petey's tuck it out. Anyway, real maturity is noticing, right? Hear that, is noticing. Real maturity is noticing your own inner turbulence. This is what he's pointing out here is self-awareness. It is the self-awareness of when things are going on for you in the face of the situation at hand, right? That's what's crucial here. It's noticing what's going on for you, right? It's the self-awareness of what's going on for you before you respond, right? That's the first thing. And we first must notice the amount of times that I do coaching with people and work with people or use different examples, and they'll go externally. They'll talk about someone else's behavior as if that person must change their behavior in order for them to feel safe to whatever result they're after, which is a complete under responsibility of their own behavior, right? So it's actually noticing your own inner turbulence. The second thing is pausing before you project how you feel onto what is happening around you, right? Pausing. This is what's really crucial, is that people, and so often, once again in my experiences with coaching, is that people are like, why isn't it changing? Why isn't it, why am I still doing this? It's like the real work is done in the moment. It's actually being able to stop and pause. There's not this beautiful, clean transition where everything changes, right? I've seen people post about that before in the past. It's bullshit. It's like saying that a physical manifestation after years of conditioning will change overnight. It doesn't. Behaviors can change overnight, but they still have to be conditioned, which means to conditionally do it again and again and again and again and again, right? And to consciously condition it as well. And so the pausing here is giving yourself the permission to actually just stop. Take note of everything that's going on, and then start to choose a different behavior, a different thought, a different reaction, a different response, whatever it may be. But it's absolutely crucial that you actually take that moment to pause. What might go on for you here is you might start to think about the other person's waiting for me to respond. The other person thinks I'm an idiot because I'm not saying anything. The other person's yada, yada, yada. But this is you transforming. This is you changing your form of how you think and how you behave. And it's going to be messy. And in that messiness, there's going to be pauses. And if you give yourself permission to pause in the face of anyone else's judgment, which is what's going on for them, not what is true for you, then that is absolute fucking transformation, right? So pausing before you, ready, project how you feel onto what is happening around you. Project what you think, what you feel, what your behaviors are around what is going on around you. And so the key thing here around the projection side of things is that so often We're just projecting our opinions based upon past experiences that we're grabbing from the past and projecting into the current moment or into the future. We're not actually fucking living. We're not responding. We're reactioning. And so our ability here to pause, right? To first notice, we must first notice. We must first have self-awareness. And so the key thing with coaching and everything else that we do is actually giving awareness practices. As people are talking, they're just saying stuff they're not even conscious to. It's like, hello, wake up, hello. Could you hear that? Petey just looked at me. He's like, who's here? Could you hear that? And you feed it back to them. There's your feedback, objective. And they go, right. I go, so your awareness practice, so they could start to become aware of it and clear their own shit. Rather than the coach having to clear it for. It's not the coach's fucking job. It's the coach's job to point out what's going on. Whoever coach is, right? Just doesn't matter. That's irrelevant. What I'm pointing at here is that person to point out what they can hear, what they can see, what they can hear is going on for the individual. Feed it back to them and go, can you hear that? Can you see that? What's the positive intention behind that? And finding out the mental landscape for that person. And when we do that, that person now has the ability to start an awareness practice, to start noticing their inner turbulence when shit's going on around them. And then they must do the work of pausing. When they see that arise, they must pause in the moment. Pausing in that moment, they get a chance to stop, reassess, and choose a different life. They choose a different life in that moment because they're choosing a different response. That different response will give us a different path. That different path is going to give us a different life. So when we pause, we're choosing a different life. We're choosing freedom. We're choosing autonomy. We're not choosing to be stuck to the past or scared of the future. We're choosing to back ourselves. So that pause is so fucking crucial, but we can't pause without first noticing. Before we then project how we feel onto what is happening around you. Don't project, observe, and choose your own behavior, choose your own response. And on that note, team, I'm done. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you found this podcast beneficial, it would mean the world to me if you'd pass it on to someone else that you think would also find it beneficial. If you haven't already, jump on the Beyond the Matrix. I just put a post up there today about what's been going on and what's happening moving forward. I'd love to see you in there. It's a free Facebook group. Stay tuned for everything that's happening in 2020, including different coaching packages, different all sorts of bits and pieces, content, books, or whatever's going on. Just jump in there. I'd love to see you in there. Follow me on Instagram at Whiskey Weights and Wisdom. And that's me done. I'm out. Until tomorrow, peace and pizza. Kick today in the dick. Slay the dragon. I'll see you soon.
To be everything at once, be unblinded, be unlearned, be unbridled and unburned.